Oh, hello. How's it going, people? Welcome to today's stream. Welcome. Hopes everyone had a fantastic. What is it today? Saturday, the 31st of May, which is very insane if you think about it. Because tomorrow is, of course, June 1st. And we all know what is happening on June 1st. The transfer window is opening up. So currently it is all a mess. It's all going all over the place, I'm not gonna lie. And these recent reports and everything I've seen today, I've seen overall, if you come to kind of put it together, let's just say, you'll get about 60 reports about, for example, Sesko, right? And you put them all together, it makes 0 sense to some extent. I'm not gonna lie, it makes 0 sense, which is kind of insane if you ask me, but hey, it is what it is at the end of the day. So we're gonna look at all that. There is some rumors about Martinelli, Barcelona. It's like a second window already in a row, or the third one even, where he's been linked to Barcelona for some interesting reasons. Let's just put it that way. Some bits and bobs here or there, but the biggest thing is Arsenal and Sesko. It's not going away. Let's just put it that way. So we're gonna look at that, we're gonna talk about it. Overall, transfer window is a mess, I'm not gonna lie. And on top of that, we will have something different. Basically, I haven't done on the stream yet. We're gonna look and talk about something very unique, let's just put it that way. Something I haven't discussed as of yet at all, pretty much. I have touched upon it vaguely on certain streams, but overall we haven't talked about it at all. So we're gonna look at that as well. So that's a bit of a mystery towards the second part of the stream, so hopefully you're excited as well. So just before we get into things, smash the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe if you're new around here, helps a lot. We are aiming for 600 as soon as possible, and then of course the big 1k just before the season of 25-26 season opens up, obviously. But besides that, yeah, leave your thoughts down in the live chat and see what it brings. Basically, see what it brings today. Of course, as I'm live right now, the Champions League final is starting, which is a bit unopportunistic from my sense of point of view, because I wanted to watch it in the beginning. Obviously, I can rewind it, I have no problem with that. At the same time, of course, I would love to also it takes away viewers, so it is what it is, but hey, it is what it is. Less people in the chat, unfortunately, but hey, we're gonna roll with the flow. Anyhow, what we're gonna kick things off today, something random, something very random. Let's look at this, because it feels like Arsenal are building a World Championship volleyball team by the looks of things, based on what type of players we have. If Arsenal signs Sesko, they will be able to field a lineup of players over 6 foot at the start of next season. Mikel Arteta is creating a team of giants, which is a bit laughable, I'm not gonna lie, and it's embarrassing as well to some extent, but it is what it is. But if you look at this, you can yield basically, by formation change, let's just put it that way, if we shift the formation around a bit, a team of basically 6'1" and above giants. Think about it. Seriously, think about it. It is actually kind of insane when you come to think of it. It's actually kind of nuts, and it genuinely feels like we are building a team for the World Cup in volleyball or something like that. Because, oh my goodness gracious, we have 10 players in this image, and that is basically half the squad. Half of the squad is at least 6'1" or above, which is quite insane when you come to think of it. They're building just physically, a bit more physical, which obviously on the pitch sometimes you couldn't tell, but overall physical and tall players, which I get to a certain point of view. But this at the same time screams to me genuinely Stoke City, Crosses FC, Delap long throws FC, and all this stuff. Genuinely. Obviously there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of them are defenders, 2 of them are midfielders. No, 3 of them are midfielders and 2 of them are attackers, technically. So 5-3-2. You can kind of put out the starting 11 if you played that way, simply only from these guys. So there's a possibility. Obviously, David Raya is like 6 foot, if I'm not mistaken, on 6'1". If we play David Raya and everyone, this could be a starting 11 on its own if we switch the formation a bit, which seems kind of nuts when you come to think of it, because I kind of I kind of get it. But mostly, it's a massive mystery in what direction Mikel Arteta is building this team. Seriously. Because all of these players have been bought by design. Besides Saliba, who already was here on Mikel Arteta, signed and joined our Arsenal team and became the manager, right? It is a bit of a weird one. Let's just put it that way. It is a bit of a weird one. I'm very interested and curious to see where this is going to take us, because otherwise it's not enough, is it? It's genuinely not enough. You technically, for the perfect balance and the perfect team, you need to have obviously have tall players and physical players, but you need to have some short ones with some extra abilities, with skills, with tech, with pizzazz. And I'm not gonna lie, none of these players have any of that. So it's weird. It's genuinely weird because it's pretty much a starting 11 already. And if you take out two players and put in Saka and Odegaard, that's a starting 11 we can see next summer on somewhat next season, on somewhat very consistent basis if you come to think of it, which is very, very, very confusing. Are we building the tallest football team in the world, or what we are doing? It's kind of a mystery to me, I'm not gonna lie. Because you expect tall players to be also somewhat, well, strong physically, right? And there are some of these players, for example, where is one? Calafiori, Havertz at times, Ben White as well, makes question why they are so, but they're not physically strong at times. It's very weird. I'm not gonna lie, I cannot put my finger on it why, but it makes me feel very uneasy going into the next season. That even if we sign Sesko, this can be a starting 11 if we played like 5-3-2 or something like that. That was the weird random take. I'm not gonna lie. That was the weird random take I wanted to talk about in the beginning of the stream. Anyways, Arsenal are not linked with Ederson, which is a travesty in my opinion, but it is what it is. But Liverpool as well, just like Newcastle and Barcelona, are in the race to sign Ederson. His contract expires next summer, and potentially forcing Atalanta to listen to offers that is coming from to Atalanta, which is weird because for me personally, for some players we should be looking at, we are not signing and we are not linked even with. I'm not gonna lie. One of them is Ederson. I would love to have Ederson at Arsenal. I kid you not. The way he plays, the way he fits into the team, it's actually quite perfect in my opinion. And everything he has achieved. And another player that is in the same bracket is, where is this guy? It's Ryan Cherky. This is the other guy. Another player we Arsenal definitely should be looking at. At the moment, only Man City, apparently, based on reports, are in for him, right? And look, Lyon want over 30 million euros for Ryan Cherky, right? Obviously, Man City are in advanced talks and everything, which is quite annoying. Let's just put it that way, but it is what it is. We go with the flow, I guess, if you are an Arsenal fan, you're an Arsenal in general. But if you look at Arsenal, Man City, and Liverpool, the one team that should have a creative midfielder the most on consistent basis, a one that can shoot, that can pass, that can do everything, it's Arsenal. Obviously, we have been vaguely linked with Leicester as El Kanouche and players like that, but it's very mind-boggling that we are not linked with any creative midfielders whatsoever. You could say Zubimendi is arguably one of them, but I'm talking more about midfielders who can play more advanced going forward, like, you know, your left eights who can actually be up front and your number 10s. Because now Liverpool are gonna sign Florian Wirtz. They just walked the league without Wirtz, let's be real, and they are gonna be 10 times more dangerous next season. Man City, yes, they had KDB and everything they needed to refresh their midfield, and Cherky for them is also a very good opportunity. At the same time, the way Man City play, you could argue they didn't need creative midfielder, but to some extent they also did. But if you look at Arsenal, based on how we have done what we did last season, we were one of those teams that desperately needs one of these guys, and we are not signing anyone, which is very, very frustrating. Let's just put it that way. Big up Solskjaer joins. I prefer El Kanouche. I totally get that. Looking spooky for Foden. Well, isn't Foden like... Foden plays left wing, doesn't he? And Cherky, I think, is not going to be a winger. He's going to be actually in that midfield spot. Which is... Like, who is he going to replace? Okay, Rodri is back. Who they else... They're going to have three midfielders. So one of them will be Rodri. One of them, I assume, will be Cherky. And the third one will be who I have no idea at the moment. They're linked with Reinders and players like that. So maybe that could be the answer in that regard. But... it's actually kind of interesting, I'm not gonna lie. Both of the teams that have won the league in recent years actually are doing things, actually. Well, I'm not saying, hey, you can be a midfielder and play a 10. It's nothing that big in that regard. But Cherky for them would be nice, I'm not gonna lie. Why are we not linked with Cherky is the biggest question I have. Because we need someone like Cherky in that 10 spot. But we are not looking at anyone. Just so we can protect the mosquito guard. Genuinely, just so we can protect the pillow foot. Which is the most frustrating bit. Big up AJ, hope you're doing well. Big up, big up, big up. Big up PFC always. Hope you're doing well today. Everyone's bigging up everyone, you love to see it. But here is the big one. Let's talk some actual Arsenal stuff, right? This is coming from El Nacional. And this is a big thing. Newcastle, Arsenal and Spurs are all interested in signing Bradley Barcola, with reports suggesting that PSG could be willing to sell for around £42 million. Now, I'm not saying this is true or not, but I'm not gonna lie. For £42 million, I would definitely sign him without shadow of a doubt. Unless, if it's like 80, 90, maybe not. But since it's like 42, maybe up to 50 potentially, if that is the case, I would genuinely go after him. He can play that left wing spot. He can do lots of things on the pitch that most of our attackers cannot. Let's just put it that way. He has pace, he has dribbling, he has semi-consistent finishing, let's just put it that way, but he can score from outside the box, inside the box. And there were reports also when they signed Kvaratskhelia, right? There were reports coming out from France, from other journalists, that there could be a bit of a turmoil in that regard, because they signed Kvaratskhelia, they have Dembele, they have Desiree Doué, and the way they're playing, like Barcola felt like the odd man out. And at the moment, if I'm not mistaken, Barcola and Doué both are set for contract extensions, potential ones, and they both are holding on. They are both withholding signing them because they don't know where the future may lie in that regard for them. Paid for Bradley now if he actually is available. Yeah, that for me is the case. We actually should be potentially paying that. I'm not gonna lie, 42 million. What's the looking? It's still 0-0, 10 minutes in. PSG versus Inter Milan. Let's look at the starting 11s. Donnarumma, Mendes, Pacho, Marquinhos, Hakimi, Neves, Vitinha, Ruiz, Kvaratskhelia, Dembele and Doué. On the other side, we have Jan Sommer, Benjamin Pavard, Acerbi, Bastoni, Dumfries, Barella, Kalhanoglu, Henrik Mkhitaryan, ho, Arsenal legend, Di Marco, Marcus Thuram, and of course the the big man himself, Lautaro Martinez, the captain of Inter Milan. But none of the teams have any injuries, by the way. None of the teams have injuries, so because Carboni, okay, Correa as well. The rest of the best players they have, let's see, Zelinski, Taremi, Frazzesi, De Vrij, Darmian, Bisek, all of them are available, which is kind of insane when you come to think of it. It's actually kind of nuts. Imagine Mkhitaryan wins Champions League. Big up Boyton, by the way. And yeah, to be honest, last year, what's his face? Koscielny, lol. Kolasinac won Europa League. Granit Xhaka won Bundesliga and Deutsche Pokal, going invincible in Bundesliga, by the way. Like, players that... And he, to be honest, Mkhitaryan, since left Arsenal, has won quite a bit as well. Like, it's not the first time he could win something, but winning Champions League, that would be something extraordinary Mkhitaryan could put on his resume. I'll just put it that way. When he was at Borussia Dortmund, like, there were indications that I had hopes that he actually could win it at some point. He went to United, came to Arsenal and all this stuff. It was a 50-50, I'm not gonna lie. But overall, Mkhitaryan actually could do this. Watching this final, can't believe we leave to teams not even that special. All because we are under-equipped. It's always like that, isn't it? We always manage to lose to teams that might not be something unique and special. They might not be the best ones, but they outperform us in certain aspects of the game where we always screw it up. Arsenal have this tendency, no matter how good they're doing, how many things they're achieving, maybe during the season, stats-wise and crap like that, right? they always have this weird signature move, if you will, to shoot themselves in the foot somehow. Happened against Olympiacos, Villarreal, Monaco, and all these teams. It happens consistent basis. Like, that's the most frustrating part being an Arsenal fan. Because when it's starting to go very, very good for you, you always know that something is gonna go wrong at some point. And it's usually gonna be detrimental for the whole season. And it always has been like that, and that is the big issue here. That's very painful as an Arsenal fan, let's just put it that way. But for now, it's still 0-0. Nothing much has happened. Well, I cannot say that, I'm not watching the game, but we'll see. 12 minutes in, 0-0 still. 0-0 still. Let's see, what else can we say? 2 semifinals, not enough attacking power is crazy. Our bench always academy kids. We have nothing. You would think that after all the money we have spent, we would have at least starting 11, proper one, and at least somewhat consistent bench which we can rotate on semi-consistent basis. But we have none of that. That's the biggest annoyance. And then if you add on top of that Mikel Arteta's limited ability of coaching and management skills during games, still making the same mistakes and arguably not even learning from them in 5 years, it's actually kind of nuts. All of those kids are good enough to be playing for us. To be honest, they are. That's the nuts part. We have 2 already. Skelly is playing. Manieri, I don't know what he has done, but he hasn't seen pretty much game time whatsoever after Saka came back. He's getting microwave minutes, and let's be real, when I sometimes microwave my food from yesterday, even then that microwave dinner gets more minutes than Yeri on the pitch. So it's kind of insane when you think about it. We have players that are good enough. We have players from the youth academy that are better than our main team players, but they never get played. Never. They never get the chance to go to youth. And one of Manieri's treatment this season, one of the biggest travesties. Arsenal star viewed as an option for Barcelona this summer. PSG have scored 1-0. Who? Kvaratskhelia? Hakimi has scored from Desiree Doué's assist. Big up PSG. 1-0. By the way, the game is happening in Allianz Arena, where Bayern Munich, plays. Allianz Arena, whenever there has been a Champions League final, a new Champions League winner gets crowned. A team that has never ever won it before, pretty much. Inter have done it before. PSG have never. Will this trend continue at Allianz Arena this season as well? But yeah, 1-0 PSG. Will be interesting to see how this develops. On my honor, Kabia would have been no worse than average. To be honest, Kabia, for example, could not be much worse than Martinelli, Trossard, Sterling, and all those guys. He should have also gotten a shot. PSG are winning it. It's the Kvaratskhelia show. Well, to be honest, it's more than Hakimi show, because that Hakimi, the stats he's posting from right back is actually phenomenal. Attacking football, that must be nice, exactly. Haven't seen attacking football proper one from Arsenal for 3 seasons technically, so it's pain. I always forget Sterling exists till someone mentions him. Exactly, that's how memorable his time at Arsenal has been. The most memorable one. Anyways, back to this. Arsenal star is viewed as an option for Barcelona this summer. And that is this one. Yeah, Football España. According to Sport, whoever that is, 2 players fall into category for Barcelona. Obviously, Barcelona have 2 number 8 targets for wingers. It's Luis Diaz from Liverpool and Marcus Rashford from Man United. At the moment, it doesn't look like it's gonna happen, especially since it says that Diaz believes to prefer staying at Liverpool or even moving to Saudi, because there's some Saudi teams that are willing to pay some insane money for him. However, there are plan B options for Barcelona, and the plan B options include Gabriel, Martinelli, and Kingsley Coman. Gabriel Martinelli has been linked with Barcelona for quite some time, if I'm not mistaken as well. It's been like 2-3 summer windows where Martinelli has been linked with Barcelona, and still nothing has happened. The former could leave Arsenal this summer due to their pursuit of a new left wing of their own. And that for me is the biggest thing. I've been very adamant about this when I say this, and many people disagree with me, and there are also people who agree with me. For the left wing spot, in Mikel Arteta's eyes, that's how I see it at least, right? Martinelli is the most expendable one. Also, over the years, he has tried to replace Martinelli on numerous occasions, right? And now, if you look at, if we need to sell someone big to sign someone big back in as well, like let's just say we get Sesko and we need now to sell someone bigger to sign someone big for the left wing spot, I think Martinelli will be it. Because for Trossard, you are not getting any value almost whatsoever. Think about it. Plus, there are talks about Trossard potentially signing a new deal very soon. Martinelli, however, on the other hand, he has contract till 2027. There's been reports suggesting that there is no rush in extending his contract. But will he stay at Arsenal till the end of for next season? Nobody knows at the moment. Let's be real. And if Arsenal need to sell someone from the attack, I wish it was Havertz, obviously, and Odegaard, but it is what it is. But Martinelli, in my opinion, is the most expendable one, given the youth still, giving the potential still. Because let's be real, I'm also very strong on this, that if he goes to a different team and he falls under the proper manager, he will ball out like no tomorrow. We will see the Martinelli we saw in 22-23 season, if not even better. So I think if it push comes to shove, if we need to sell someone, we will sell Gabriel Martinelli. And will this be the season when Barcelona actually get Martinelli? That is the big question. Because there are talks that Barcelona are willing to sell... what's its face? Ferran Torres. They're willing to sell Ferran Torres. There are rumors that he might leave. And if he leaves, they actually might sign him back. They might sign someone in, and Martinelli obviously now is in that category. Now the question for you all: would you be okay if Arsenal sold Martinelli and got someone better at left wing? Now the question is who Arsenal deem better at that left wing spot. That is a completely different story at the moment. But if we are linked with someone and Arsenal are actually exploring selling Martinelli and then signing that guy, would you be okay with that? Because if we need money to sign someone in for the attack, Martinelli would be the most expendable one. And I don't think also Arsenal would be willing, even for 180 grand a week, which Martinelli's salary is at the moment, they would be tempted to put him on the bench. Although, saying that, we have quite a few of those who sit on the bench who are way overpaid for 150 and 130 and 160 and something like that every single week. So that is a big question mark if you ask me. Genuinely, that is a big question mark. But will he move to Barcelona? I kind of don't know. No, can you trust us to buy a winger? That when we have been begging for a striker, that is the biggest thing. That is the biggest thing. And if you put it in that context, that is the biggest issue here. Because we've been begging for a striker for the longest time. More specifically, we've been begging for a striker for the last 3.5 years, since Aubameyang got basically binned off by Mikel Arteta, or you could say ruined by Mikel Arteta. So that is the biggest question here. We haven't had a striker even, and now we potentially are signing Sesko. That is going well. So let's just say, if there was, let's just say, concrete evidence that Arsenal are signing Rodrigo, for example, or let's just say for the sake of an argument, Desiree Doué from PSG, or someone like that, would you then be open of selling Martinelli? Or it has to be like if Arsenal sign a winger, once Arsenal signed a winger, would you then sell Martinelli if push comes to shove? I can see it happening in that scenario. Otherwise, it's a very big issue here. We've been waiting for a striker, what it feels for as long as we've been waiting for a trophy, pretty much. Let's be real, 5 years. And still nothing has happened, which is kind of coincidence, isn't it? Quite a coincidence, to say the least. But otherwise, yeah, Martinelli being linked with Barcelona, that is a big one. No, our issue is depth. Getting rid of Martinelli just set us back. Not per se. Not per se. Definitely not per se, because Martinelli is not doing much as well. I'm selling Trossard before Martinelli. There's more time to possibly improve Martinelli. There is, 100%. The thing is about Martinelli is that we've seen what Martinelli can do. More specifically, we've seen what he can do when Arsenal actually play somewhat attacking football to suit his playstyle how Martinelli wants to play in 22-23 season, obviously. Now the question is, can we revert back to that? because I'm strongly believe that Martinelli's stagnation, partial regression, and the things that he seems worse than he should be looking, let's just put it that way, is just due to the system and the style Mikel Arteta wants to play. Because we were playing rock and roll, gun-ho, all-out attack football and everything, which was kind of nice, I'm not gonna lie. At the same time, now we are where we are. Martinelli have to learn possession ball if he gonna... Yeah, exactly, that is the biggest issue. Big up Mike, hope you're doing well. 2-0. Attacking football really works, huh? Ironic, isn't it? 2-0, who scored? Kvaratskhelia? No, Desiree Doué now scored, see? We should sign Desiree Doué. Oh wait, we are not. Desiree Doué makes it 2-0, which is quite nice, I'm not gonna lie. 2-0 Inter Milan. Oh, PSG, sorry. Martinelli, do you think Martinelli can learn possession football? That is the biggest question, because he doesn't lift his head when he has the ball at his feet. When he runs with the ball, he genuinely just looks at the grass. That's about it. That for me is the biggest question. Can Martinelli learn even possession football? Or he just needs to be something, given that he doesn't have the best amount of skills to dribble and do everything? Or does he have to be that type of attacker who runs in behind, who gets the ball at his feet in full motion so he can attack defenders with pace and when they are off balance and on the back foot? Because for me, Martinelli is most dangerous in those situations. But obviously we don't play that way, and that for me is the biggest issue. Big up Eros. Eros, big up. Hope you're doing well today and match. I don't know, I haven't. It's annoying that I'm not watching it. Technically, I could put it aside here on the other screen and everything, but it genuinely would distract me so much I would forget that I'm streaming. Kid you not. Big up, big up, big up. Anyhow, I'm gonna rewind the football match anyways after I'm done the stream, most likely. Anyhow, speaking of Champions League, most games played in Champions League European Cups without winning it. PSG, by the looks of things, currently could end that drought. They're 2-0 up against Inter at the moment. Atletico Madrid hasn't won it for a while, let's just put it that way, 176. They have won Europa League though, if I'm not mistaken, so that's kind of nice. They beat us in Europa League as well, which is kind of insane. Dynamo Kiev, but nobody's expecting them to win anything. And then there's Arsenal. And ironically enough, Arsenal are legitimately, what, that's 20, no, I'm lying, 20, 30, 26 games ahead. 26 games, and I kid you not, 26 games is 2 Champions League seasons. Pretty much 2 Champions League seasons. 8 in a group stage, you get, without the extra games, that's 2, 2, 1. That's extra 5. 8, 13. That's exactly 2 seasons in ahead. 2 seasons. Oh, bloody hell. It's been a while, isn't it? It's been a while, hasn't it? Breaking records, exactly. We are breaking records. We have a heritage of losing in Champions League, yeah. And the worst part is not we don't have heritage losing in Champions League final or semi-final, because we've been to final how many times? Lol. How many times have we been to semi-final? 3 times. We have been 2 times, 1 time to a final, and we mostly lose in quarterfinals, predominantly. Right? And no bueno. This is genuinely no bueno. If we are on top of this list with the biggest Champions League drought in the Europe, why are we not signing Desiree Doué? Just drop the bag on Doué. Why not? Just go for it. Show some ambition. Go for it. Obviously, yesterday we talked about Real Madrid being interested in Miles Skelly. I'll just say it that way. He was apparently, based on the games he played against them, they were interested. His contract runs out in 2026. However, yesterday I also said this, that he's set for a new contract and he's gonna sign it this summer. And it basically gets doubled down. Arsenal are confident they will have tied Miles Skelly down to a new contract before the pre-season, which basically is in a month. So within the next month, Arsenal should tie down Skelly for a new contract. Amid interest from Real Madrid, the generational talent is set for a significant pay rise. If I'm not mistaken, Skelly at the moment is on like 6,000 a week. Which means we will see his salary getting raised. I would say to like 50, 60 grand. Which, to be honest, would be a nice increase. I'm not gonna lie. 60 grand a week wouldn't be the worst at all. Let's just put it that way. That wouldn't be the worst at all. 60 grand for Skelly. I think that's fair, given the situation. Because if he gets instantly risen up to like 120 or something like that, that genuinely would be not the right move. 10 times MLS's money. Yeah. Substantial increase. That, I think that would be fair. 50, 60 grand. Genuinely, I think that would be fair. How much would you pay Skelly then if you don't think that's fair? Because if the website would load, if we look at Capology, right? Reloading. Give me a sec. Premier League. Salaries. Arsenal. Go. Okay. Here we go. Skelly is on 4,000 a week. You don't see it. Give me a sec. This one. Here we go. I'm gonna move my head a bit, but here it is. Skelly is on 4,000 a week. 4 grand a week for Skelly only. Buying players like Douay ain't the Arsenal way. Exactly. They just buy retired players. I pay MLS 70k at the most for now, but I don't think he's gonna negotiate. To be honest, he shouldn't be negotiating that hard. Should he? Like, seriously, should he even negotiate that hard? Because it would make no sense. 100% exactly makes way too much sense. Exactly. But I think for Skelly and Vanieri, both of them, getting a pay... Sorry. Getting a pay rise somewhere up to 50 to 60 grand a week, I think that would be fair. Because Skelly would get, let's just say, 50, 55 grand a week. That's like 10.5 times the increase, right? 15 times increase. 15 times. Vanieri gets about 60 grand a week. That's 10 times the increase. If you look like Kivior is on 58 grand a week, which is actually kind of nuts, come to think of it. But I wouldn't be opposed to that. I think that would be fair, especially if Skelly will remain a starter and the main guy. 100%. I wouldn't be against that. If you look at, for example, players like Tomiyasu, who is on 100 grand a week and has played 6 minutes this season for Arsenal, that's embarrassing. Jorginho was on 110. Sterling on 110. Gabriel is still on 100 grand, by the way. That is a travesty and a half. Genuinely travesty and a half. I hope he gets like proper 200 grand or something like that increase. Up to 200, 250. Calafiori is on 120. Merino is on 130. Zinchenko on 150. Ben White on 150. Martinelli is on 180, by the way. Martinelli is on 180. Saliba on 190. Saka is gonna get it to 300, I assume. He's on 195. And then we get into 200k gang, where is Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Martin Odegaard somehow is on 240 grand a week, by the way. Jesus is on 265. And Kai Havertz is on 280. And the worst part is the big contracts, like Havertz runs out in June of 2028. That's still 3 more years. Jesus is 2 more years. Odegaard is 3 more years. Rice is 3 more years. And all these guys. It's actually kinda insane if you look at the prices we are paying for some of our players who almost never play. It is actually kinda embarrassing, to say the least. Not... Weekly average salary is 112,000, right? Which seems small enough, right? Which seems small enough. But that's solely because of Skelly and Vanieri. Because if they both go up to 60k, this number is gonna rise up to like 150, 160 a week instantly. That is actually kinda nuts if you think about the money we're paying to certain players, isn't it? Tomiyasu is a Sayo, basically. I know, it's actually nuts. It's nuts. I guess you have to laugh. If you don't cry, you have to laugh. Only Party and Rice are worth in that 200k club. Yeah, exactly. And Party barely worth, if you are asking me. Party should be on about 150 on the new deal, in my opinion. 150 max. 1 year plus 1 year option and 150 a week. That would be my offer. But he's nowhere near as offensive as Havertz, Jesus, and Odegaard. Just think about it. Havertz, Jesus, and Odegaard. If you combine their salaries together, right? And I kid you not, that is what? 785,000 a week on those three alone. Like, that's nuts. If you take only our first four players, for example, let's just say Havertz, Jesus, Odegaard plus Party, that's 1 billion. No, 1 million, sorry. That is 1 million in salary instantly. If you put Declan Rice there, that's 1.1 million instantly. Like, those, like, it's actually kind of insane. But given the situation that Kai Havertz, Jesus, and Odegaard all together are on 780 grand a week combined. Oh, genuinely, their agents need a massive pay raise. Let's just put it that way. Especially since, well, Jurriën Timber, as you can see, is on 90 grand. I hope he gets an increase because after this season, he definitely deserves it. Let's just put it that way. But holy moly, how insane are those salaries? That is actually kind of insane if you ask me, how much we are paying to certain players. Don't remind us. Surely we could have offered Messi a deal of 700k a week. To be honest, we could have offered anyone 700k a week. Think about it. Like, we could cut the ties, and we could get anyone. 700 grand a week, anyone would come to Arsenal. If you think about it that way, right? But if think about it even this way, 700 grand a week. If you want to sign some top players, divided by 3, that's 233,000 a week. But on that money, you can genuinely sign 3 top quality, near world class, if not world class type of players. And in key positions that Arsenal need. Like, it's actually kind of insane if you think about it. Give me 20 minutes of Messi each week on 700k a week and he's worth compared to this next. 100%. 100%. Like, to be honest, we just saw Ranieri is on 6 grand a week, right? Ranieri in a game when he comes on even as a sub for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, if he's lucky, usually it's like 5-6 minutes. In those 5-6 minutes, the guy on the 6 grand a week does more than our attack combined. If you include Odegaard 240, Havertz 280, that's already 520. Then you add, for example, who else? Sterling. Even he plays, that's already more than 600 grand a week. A guy who earns 100 times less than these 3 players combined does more in the 5-10 minutes than the rest of the guys have done the whole game. Like, and then there is people still questioning why Ranieri should start. Oh, he played 30 games this year. 30 games, yes, he played. But if you look at the minutes he played in those games, it's not the same, is it? It's not the same whatsoever when he comes on mostly for 5 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 6 minutes. I mean, if he's lucky, he gets 10 plus minutes. And sometimes he started in the cups. The sad part is it isn't the players' fault that they're getting paid that much. The club needs to be called accountable for giving them those astronomical. Exactly. But when all that gets called out, oh, you're toxic or you're negative. Let them be. Are you the Arsenal's accountant? And everything instantly. Do you own the club? What's it to you? And everything instantly. But the issue is that nobody's holding them accountable. Somehow Zinchenko at Big up Kwame. I don't know, Eros, if you have seen this, but look at this. I'm gonna move the screen so you can see it. Right? Zinchenko. Look at Zinchenko's salary. 150 grand a week, right? 150 grand. If we go to Manchester City, right? And if we go to Man City and then we go to year 21-22. 21-22, right? Zinchenko. We're gonna go to Zinchenko. Zinchenko was on 20 grand a week. Zinchenko was on 20 grand a week. And Arsenal are paying him 150 grand a week. What has he done to get 7.5 times the salary increase to get paid now 150 grand a week? From 20 to 750 grand. 450 grand. Same goes for Jesus, by the way. If you look at Jesus, he was on 90 grand. He signs for Arsenal, 260 instantly. 260. He gets 3 times the increase, pretty much. 3 times. But wait, there is more. Genuinely, there is more. Let's go to Spain. No, let's go to... no, we are not going to Spain. We're going to go to Italy. We're going to go to Serie A. We're going to go to salary... We're going to go to season of 22-23. And we're going to go to... I need to find the club. We need to find the club. Where is the club of 22? Where is the club? I cannot see the club, which is kind of annoying. Serie A, salaries, yeah. I need the club. For fuck's sake, I'm blind. This is Juventus, by the way. Where is he? This is Sampdoria. Wrong club. Never mind. Turin. Spezia. Here are the Spastics. Spastica. And we signed... Oh, Krollis. Big up Krollis. Jakub Kivior. He's on £2,500 euros, by the way. Not even pounds. Euros a week at Spezia. 2,500. 2,500. At Arsenal, he's on 58,000. He gone from 2 grand a week, let's just say in pounds, from 2 grand a week to nearly 60 grand a week. 30 times the increase to sign from Spezia to Arsenal. What the hell was that about? Seriously, from 2 grand a week in pounds at Spezia, if we talk pounds, he goes up to 58,000 a week. What has he done to justify this pay rise? Like, it makes well, I probably cannot see it, but it makes absolutely 0 sense whatsoever. To be honest, we can continue this. If we go to salaries of 23-24 season in Serie A, where is it? 23-24. Let's go Bolognas. If you want Bologna, let's go to the Bolognas. Calafiore. About 10 to 11 grand a week. Right? About 11 grand a week for 12 grand a week in pounds, right? We can change it to pounds, I think, yeah. Let's go to pounds. Calafiore was on £12,000 a week in Bologna. Now, if we go to Arsenal, right? Calafiore, he goes from £12,000 a week at Arsenal, at Bologna, sorry, to 120,000. 10 times the increase. From where? What has he done? Seriously. He goes from 12 to 120. Kivior goes from 2 grand a week to 58 grand a week. Like, Zinchenko from 20 to 150. Jesus from 90 to 265. Like, make some bloody sense. What have these guys done to deserve 10, 20 time increase in salaries? Well, Kivior's case, it's 30 times the increase in salary from 2 to 60 grand a week. It's actually kinda insane if you think about it, how much money we are wasting. But it stems from the club, because if you don't win trophies, arguably it's harder to attract players. And the only way you can do it is by paying them top money. Seriously. I'm getting sick to my stomach. I don't blame you. The only thing I can think of is that some of these low contract could be reward based. That's how City does it, I think, because City, if you look at City's payroll, right? If we go to Manchester City, right? I have to move the screen again. But if you look at Man City's payroll, right? It is lower. Seriously, look, average salary already 7 grand less than Arsenal's. But look, Haaland is on 525, just signed a new deal for 10 years. It is what it is, right? De Bruyne was on 400. He's leaving, so they're gonna get 400 grand a week back. Think about it. The players they leave, they get all that money back, right? Marmoush, okay, cool, it is what it is. But look at the most players. All of these have won Premier Leagues endless amounts of times, obviously besides Marmoush, right? But then you look, Ruben Dias is on 180. Ake 160, Kovacic, Nunez, Ederson, for example, is only on 100k. Ortega is on 90, Gonzalez just signed from Porto 60, Oscar Bob, Doku is on 50, Savio is on 40, Scott Carson is nicking a living still to this day, 30 grand a week, Rico Lewis is on 25, Kusanov is on 20, McAtee is on 15, Echemesi as they call him, is on 15 as well. All the rest of the players are out on loan. For City, you can justify these salaries because they have won stuff and that could actually make some sense. However, think about it. As soon as these players leave, Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish might leave. They want to sell Gundogan. They want to sell John Stones and players like that. Instantly, everything opens up. They can sign already insane players for insane money. And for example, Rodri, the Ballon d'Or winning player, Rodri, is on 220 grand a week. He's getting paid less than Odegaard, Jesus, Havertz, and players like that. In which universe does this make any sense whatsoever? A Ballon d'Or, multiple time Premier League winning, Champions League winning player gets paid less than some sort of a pillow foot, Havertz, and Gabriel Jesus. Where does that make any sense? Like, that's the thing, the salary structures could make sense, and they do. For Man City it makes sense, because they have many players on winning salaries. That's also because of they have won stuff, but at the same time there are some bases as well to that. Typical Arsenal business, yeah. Sorry my fingers today, so okay. Hey Zinchenko, you want a pay rise? Arteta problem. Basically, that's what it was. Gyökeres is better than Sesko and Havertz. It's ridiculous we want Sesko, our fans want Gyökeres. If we miss Gyökeres, then the same old, same old. It is the same old, same old. It's gonna be like that. It is the same old. You can't do anything about it. We inflate people's money, basically. Yeah, you want some money, come to Arsenal. I bet you are not. It's weird, like, the Sesko thing, like, you hear in the media that they say that Berta wants Gyökeres, Arteta wants Sesko, and everything. Yesterday, when we got linked with Sesko properly, like, a bit more stronger, right? Arteta and Berta are in cohesion, unanimous decision. They both want Sesko all of a sudden, which is weird. We can touch on it as well at the moment, because I had this written down here. Like, Leipzig director Speyford has traveled to London tonight for talks to Andrea Berta to advance negotiations for Sesko. That was reported yesterday. Then the yesterday news came out that Sporting have rejected 70 million bid from Arsenal, allegedly. And then to add on top of that, United entered the race for Benjamin Sesko. And then on top of everything, as per recent information relayed to us, Arsenal currently not in any concrete talks or negotiations for any striker. And then all of a sudden, what the hell is happening here? Because obviously those are ITKs and crap like that, but one says, bang, Arsenal and Sesko, oh, it's moving. Then, bang, Arsenal bid for Gyökeres, it's rejected. Bang, Sesko's agent travels to London. Bang, United want Gyökeres. And then that's on top of all that, cherry on top of the cake after you read all that, Arsenal are not in for any striker, it's just random strictly rumors. Contacts has been made with multiple players, but no doors have been opened and no one have been shut either. And then you sit there and think, what the hell am I doing every day following all this crap? If you want to make sure your career as a footballer was financially worth, but the Saudis aren't interested in you, yeah, it's Arsenal, United, one of those teams basically. Big up 150k a week average salary a man gets a year in America, 45k a week. Sorry, these footballers talking about being secure in the future. It's insane. They get insane amount of money. Obviously, there are players who deserve that 100%, and to some extent, it's the luck of the draw, isn't it? Because if you get linked to a big team randomly, and you go there, you are inevitably are gonna get more money than, let's just say, if you are linked with Crystal Palace and Arsenal, inevitably you're gonna get more money at Arsenal. No shadow of a doubt. So you kind of have to make, sometimes, obviously, some people make decisions based on their careers because they love football. And I totally respect that and I love it. Some of them are more money driven and then they obviously choose money over everything. Arteta, Josh got the keys to the Lambo and Stan doesn't seem to care as long as the money turns over. And to be honest, it is nuts. It is actually kind of nuts. How about paying for the badge? No thanks, just give me the bag. Exactly. Kronkes are also, yeah. No wonder we have merch drops every other week. It feels that way, doesn't it? Sesko is a disaster. We'll see. Really, genuinely, we'll see. Because if we sign Sesko, it's even a bigger disaster than it. It will be like Havertz to some extent. It could be another sword, basically, that he will have to basically die on, to some extent. It could come to that point, if he doesn't bang instantly. Because I said this yesterday on the stream as well. Am I Arteta out? Yes, I am. Am I gonna scream it every single video? No, I'm not. Because he's staying no matter what. I can just mention it sometimes, but 100. Do I want Sesko or do I want Gyökeres? I want Gyökeres, right? However, if Arsenal signs Sesko, he better goddamn bang 20 goals, if not more, in the first season instantly. Because we will be on his case no matter what. We are putting so much pressure now on this guy because we've been starved for a striker for, you could arguably say, even 4 years. And we haven't gotten one. Instead, we have gotten players like Havertz and Jesus, who admits himself he's not a striker. We have seen more left backs than trophies in general in the last 5-6 years, and it's actually kind of nuts if you think about it. You have signed more defenders and attacking players in general. So it is what it is. And if he doesn't bang, it will be nuts. But obviously, from our point of view, he needs to bang because we won trophies. Right? For example, me, I cannot say we because I cannot speak for everyone, but I won trophies. Next season, right? If he don't do it, it's gonna be nuts because we will basically be on his case because, let's be real, we're gonna pay big money for him, and since we are so starved for a striker, he needs to bang right away. Otherwise, it will be curtains, no matter how you look at it. At the same time, if he doesn't score goals, and we're gonna be on his case because to some extent it's inevitable, right? There will be the top gunner part of the fan base that will say, oh, he needs time, he needs to adjust to the system, he needs to adjust to the league, he's not prepared for the league, and in next season, you will see the best of him. It's gonna be like that. And it's a never-ending story, which we basically do ring around the rosy and all this stuff, like Beyblades spin on the same spot, and we just and nothing changes. Like, nothing ever changes. Gyökeres, but true, Gyökeres is much better goal scorer. I think Sesko will be good. I can see the arguments why he could be good, right? But if I have to put my money on who will bang instantly, I would put my money on Gyökeres without shadow of a doubt. I'm just gonna say it that way. Sesko is just Havertz that can shoot. Let's just sit back and watch this car crash season. Basically, Lothar Matthäus, one of the best players in my opinion, one of the best German midfielders I have seen. Well, not per se, but in general. Let's just put it that way. From the ones I have actually watched the tapes of. Let's just put it that way, right? He said that Sesko is Havertz with Werner's pace. That's how he describes Sesko. And if he says that, it's a big issue and big worry. And I'm kind of worried what could happen in that regard. I'm very worried what could stem from that and where could that lead Arsenal in general. Watch out next season, Odegaard won't have anywhere to hide because there's no real striker and a threat for passes. Exactly. He will have a striker and everything. Saka will be fully back and everything. Saka obviously will make him look good and all this stuff. But overall, yeah, he won't. He won't. So let's see. There's no place to hide. There's no place to hide. It's always Netflix FC, next season FC. So what we don't win next season? Because already before this season that just finished ended, top Gunners were saying, oh, if we finish, well, egal in this instance, if we finish behind any team that is not named Manchester City, that is a sackable offence and Mikel Arteta should go. Fast forward few months, Liverpool are first, Arsenal are 10 points behind. Oh, but there is context. PJMOL hates us, the referees, the injuries, the game time, not enough bench. He needs his own players still after 750 million spent. The bench is not good enough. Well, those were the issues the last season. Season before that. Last year we didn't even get injuries. Now we get injuries, all of a sudden it's a problem and everything. Like, they will move goalposts as long as it fits their narrative. Because moving goalposts is easier for them than admitting that they were wrong. If Arteta proves me wrong and he wins Premier Champions League next year, if Sesko proves me wrong next year and bags 20 plus goals and we win stuff, right? I will sit here and say that I was wrong, Sesko was the right decision, and that I was wrong, Mikel Arteta did the job finally. I will give him his praise and everything. But as long as he proves me wrong after the last 5 years I have seen, I have no trust in that, I have no belief in that, I'm Arteta out, and I don't think Sesko is the right answer. Odegaard's useless, Arteta loves him, hence why he hasn't signed another number 10 to give him competition as well. Isn't that kind of interesting as well, if you think about it that way? Come on, Sesko won't lead us to anything, well... they go out from midfield and turn the shoot. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't have Werner's first touch as well. Well, the thing is, I've watched Sesko, right? I haven't maybe watched Sesko religiously as people who watch Bundesliga or something like that. But from what I understand, from what I have seen in games, I've watched Bundesliga quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie. What I've seen in general, Benjamin Sesko is tall, he can jump, he's very athletic, he can finish very good with both feet if push comes to shove, right? He can outpace most of the defenders, but obviously it's a very open league. The issue I have with Sesko is two things. I would say three even. He's still raw, he's a project type of striker. If we sign him, let's just say in 22-23 season, I would have no problem. Since we're signing him now, there are issues, right? Second of all, he has a tunnel vision, the way I see it. If he decides to shoot, he's gonna shoot. It doesn't matter who's around him, who's in front of him, he will just shoot. On one point of view, it is fantastic. Because we need to shoot more on the goddamn goal. Because we don't shoot pretty much at all what it feels like, right? Plus, if he can also score from outside the box good goals. If we score that, phenomenal. However, Mikel Arteta will be against him shooting on consistent basis. Because he wants to retain possession, keep the control and everything, which could be a big worry. And third of all, which arguably could be the most important thing of all, his passing leaves to be desired way more. He doesn't have the passing ability, even of Havertz. I'm just gonna say it as it is, even of Havertz. He cannot distribute the ball in the same way, thread the through ball passes and everything between the lines and stuff like that. He cannot do on consistent basis. Once on occasion it may come off, but on consistent basis, he cannot do it. That for me is the biggest issue as well. Right, and Gyökeres bearing. Sesko is gonna be good, lads. It's a muchness being made about signing him. The thing is, I don't see Arteta winning even if we... That's the thing. For me personally, I want Gyökeres, right? I mostly want Gyökeres, for example, mostly for the next manager, so he have some extra pieces in the right place once he takes over. That's my view already to some extent over this, right? That's how I see it. Where is this Sesko price thing coming on? Pace thing. Where is this Sesko footage of him running past players when this guy becomes Shevchenko? I'm lost. What? I don't get it. If you say it, then yeah, but this is... All that will happen is that Arteta will get till the end of his contract and maybe a year extension. Oh, bloody hell. If I have to suffer 3 years with this, oh, bloody hell. I might as well now become Wrexham fan or something like that. I might as well change And I kid you not, I will become Real Betis fan, AS Roma fan, something like that. And then the next manager comes in and has to deal with the aging sea of stock. And that is the. And you say about Gyökeres, the issue is the next manager could have big issues at hand. Because by the time the next manager comes in, well, Saliba can leave, Gabriel can leave, all of our best guys can leave at the end of the day. They will get on in age, they will want to win trophies, so they might go away. And it's all over the place like that. Plus, they will have to deal with the mess of overpaid players, not good enough players, and everything. It could be even bigger mess once Arteta leaves. That is also a thing. Arteta takes pride of taking us out of depths of hell and all this stuff. We were not in depths of hell. We were 8 points 8 points behind top 4, and we were 7 points above relegation. We were not that deep shit as people want to paint it. Toxic squad. Yet with this toxic squad, he wins FA Cup and then he destroys it. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? If Gyökeres leads us to honors and not Sesko. Plus, I don't think Sesko is a raw as people think. If Sesko is raw, and then what Merino and Havertz because they are not as good. I remember, was it Sesko? Maybe not. Sesko was one-on-one with Real Madrid and missed it multiple times. To be honest, Arsenal do it the same thing, so what's the difference? I don't think... for me, like, in this current situation, Gyökeres is better than Sesko. If we look potential-wise for future, Sesko can outdo him. Become more well-rounded than Gyökeres. Gyökeres, to a certain extent, seems 3-4 dimensional. Sesko can become more dimensional than actually Gyökeres. This Champions League final is awful so far. Mad preseason vibes. Seriously? It's still till nothing? It's half time, not even. What are we talking about here? What are we doing here? It's still 2-0 PSG. Yeah, PSG, no mind. 100% sure, but the amount of times Odegaard has had to open space outside the box and never shoots, I swear to... Exactly. And the same goes for when Odegaard has the ball and he doesn't pass it between the lines. Doesn't give a pocket pass. Doesn't lob it between defenders' backs when Havertz or Martinelli or someone is making a run. He just absolutely ignores the pass and passes it backwards and recycles the ball. And then he passes the ball and says, I'm sorry, I didn't see you. You just didn't want to pass the ball. Because Odegaard, the way he plays, kind of reflects how manager sees the game. Total control, total safeness, nothing risky, have the control. I watched Gyökeres' goals for Sporting and you can't... Nobody can knock goals. You can score 30 plus goals, 40 plus goals. You still have to score them. Like, it's not that simple of thing. Next manager has to replace Saliba, maybe replace Saka, maybe replace Rice. I'd rather have Sesko given the scenario than Gyökeres. In that regard, yes. But the thing is... How to say this? Replacing Saka will be... Same goes with replacing, for example, Saliba and everything. Although I'm a strong believer that replacing Saliba is easier than replacing Gabriel at this current stage. But yeah, I totally get your point. I totally get it about I get about Sesko. I'm not blind to it. I see the upsides of signing Sesko. I've seen him doing moments of brilliance, scoring some fantastic goals, making some fantastic moves, some dribbles and everything. I totally get your point. But I still cannot shake that feeling that he is still not ready to step instantly into main role to carry us over the line right here, right now in this season. That's how I see it. This Portuguese league is weird, man. He scored goals, but like Samuel Marodion almost hit 22. He's a bit... That's the thing. I would take Samuel Marodion at Arsenal as well. I would definitely take him. I would love for Arsenal to sign someone like Trincao as well. But, like, I don't know ball. I know nothing as people tell me, so it is what it is. Lots of times this season, whoever is playing center forward has tried making a good run between defenders and Odegaard. Yeah, every single time. Happened last year and the year before that as well. It's so frustrating to watch. If you genuinely just... You know, camera follows the ball and everything. Just look at Odegaard when he has the ball and look what he does. Obviously, you will, with your peripheral vision, you will see what happens around, right? So you can actually see how Odegaard absolutely ignores certain times a potential one-on-one. potential 3-on-2 fast break and stuff like that. It's grinding gears as I'm thinking about it because I'm having flashbacks in front of my eyes. It's crunch time for Odegaard this season. Sesko at least of our worries. It's crunch time for everyone. Leon, I'm not too sure. I'm genuinely not too sure. He might, but I'm not too sure. Odegaard will be the same as this season out of form. Could be. Joker is our guy for success. Well, Arteta thinks otherwise. Odegaard might score more goals just by taking more shots because this guy spends this time turning around. Exactly. Odegaard could have more assists, more goals, more chances and everything if he released the ball with his first or second touch. If he didn't take 7, 8, 9 touches on the ball. And by the time he's being swarmed, there's no pass, he passes it backwards. It took Odegaard, what? 60 shots to score a goal or something like that. Or it was weird. It's weird. It's genuinely weird. Odegaard has more snot in his hair than we have grass in the Emirates, to be honest. It's also it's weird. Yeah, he's spitting like Kylie Minogue settings and all that. Tap 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 tap. that thing Odegaard does with the ball look like he's technical. Yeah, this is basically sometimes when you watch Odegaard, I get the feeling as a joke which gets told about people who work, right? If you have nothing to do and you have a bit of a time left at work, let's say 2 hours to go home, just run around the place with a serious face on your look through some papers or lift some things so it looks like you're busy or you're searching for something or you have something important to do. And everyone will genuinely be off your case. That's how Odegaard feels to me. Just do everything so you look super busy. And that's about it. Look, man, whoever we sign between Sesko and Gyökeres, there's no concerns. Both are expected to do well. Exactly. To be honest, it doesn't matter, Sesko or Gyökeres. Same amount of pressure, same amount of expectations, and same amount of demands will be asked from either of them. No matter how you look at it, and no matter how you want to look at it. Now I'm looking at Arteta and Odegaard. These are the weakest links right now. To be honest, that's true. Odegaard and Arteta, two of the weakest links at the moment. Without shadow of a doubt. Is Gyökeres keeping Isak out of... No! Gyökeres plays up top and Isak plays either left wing, specifically, or they play 4-4-2 with Isak and Gyökeres both up top. They play either or. They play them both. See? They play, for example, 3-4-1-2. Isak and Gyökeres play up top. Gyökeres scored 4 goals. They lost to Luxembourg. Well, that's something new. But yeah, see, Isak... Oh, Gyökeres didn't even play. Gyökeres didn't even play. He wasn't even with the team. But yeah, they play 2 strikers. Hence why they play both them together. If you're asking. They beat Slovakia, for example. Here as well, Isak and Gyökeres, they play with 2 strikers. Both of them start. They lost to Serbia Nations League 4-1. See? They played against Serbia with 3-4-3 and they had 1 striker only because Isak was injured at the time, if I'm not mistaken. Or something like that. But yeah. It's actually kind of nuts. Where are some more games? A game cancelled, lol. They beat Sweden. I mean this. Okay, let's look at the Sweden, Azerbaijan. They beat Estonia, one of the recent games. Yeah, they predominantly play two up the top. Sometimes you can see them playing on the wing, like Isak plays left wing and Gyökeres plays up top. It depends a bit from the formation, but mostly they play double striker. Yeah, it's kind of interesting in that regard. I just need Gyökeres to go to United, smoke this league. It's time to get these fake accounts, nerd theory merchants out of here talking that XG field tilt nonsense. Oh my god, the XG and field tilt. Oh bloody hell. I'm very blessed in a way that I haven't heard any of this crap for about 2 weeks. As soon as Arsenal were out of Champions League and we have nothing to play for pretty much besides finishing top 4 and all that crap, nobody mentioned XG, nobody mentioned field tilt, none of that. Whilst we were in Champions League, we had the chances against Real Madrid, against PSG. We were still in a title race. Until we were in these games, right, to win, everyone was talking XG, expected assists, XA, field tilt, I don't know, escape rate once from Bundesliga and all that crap. As soon as we were out of competitions, we couldn't win the league, we had no chances, all of that talk instantly stopped out of nowhere. Like seriously, it's like with a magic wand they flashed and it was gone. Not that Finnish Pele can't even say AI stats basically. We will need more versatile manager, I'm afraid. Well, that's without shadow of a doubt. If United get Cunha, Gyökeres and keep Bruno, that's a problem. They'll finish. They could finish top 10 next season. However, no matter how you look at it, they need defense and midfield. To be honest, they're looking to sell Rashford. They're looking to sell someone, obviously Luke Shaw and all this stuff. Yeah, it's not. To be honest, Al Hilal are willing to pay 100 million for Bruno and offer him insane salary. Wouldn't be surprised if he leaves, especially since he's considering it now. Because that is generational wealth he will get there. Tax-free and all that stuff. Plus on top of that, Garnachers are leaving potentially. They don't concede a lot of goals. If they have firepower, they get more wins. That is true. That is true. But they need to revamp their defense. They need a better right. Arguably, they need improvement on right back, although it's good. But overall, yeah. Exactly. It is crazy, tax-free and all that stuff. It is nuts. Now imagine what Ronaldo, Benzema and all these guys are getting. Tax-free. Like, it's actually insane. Escape rate, yeah, that's in Bundesliga, I think. Like, I heard about it about 8 months ago, something like that. Escape rate in Bundesliga. Players you have avoided whilst dribbling between the opposing side or something weird like that. Wait, let me find this for you. Is it even... Here we go. Shot speed, ball recovery, win probability, passing, match, speed, lot, set piece, pressure. Where is this escape rate? Oh yeah. Pressure handling. Here we go. The Bundesliga match and all that crap. Evaluating players. Where is it? Bundesliga match fact. Pressure handling evaluating players. AKA escape rate. Seriously. Bundesliga has this stat. Pressure handling. Also known as the escape rate. It's actually wild. Seriously. It is a real thing. It's on Bundesliga website, you know. Here it is. The match fact highlights players who are performing exceptionally well when under pressure by the opposing team. The central metric is the escape rate, which highlights how often a player breaks out from these high pressure situations while keeping possession of the ball for his own team, namely through dribbles, passes, goal kicks, or by being awarded a set piece. Seriously. It's an actual metric in Bundesliga. Pressure handling, aka escape rate. Seriously, it is a thing. I kid you not. It is a real thing, sorry. Get these nuts out of my sport. Exactly. It's like, it's the end of days, escape rate and everything. Like, it's nuts. So a lot would be an understatement. It's way too much time on their hands to even think about stuff like that. Escape rate, you know. I heard about it. I didn't believe it at first as well. Then I went and checked it, and oh my God, was I in for a massive shock? Yeah, game over in that regard. Definitely 100% game over. But escape rate, that was something unique. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, anyways, guys, it's past the hour, it's 11 past the hour, and I'm gonna go watch the Champions League final, the last part. It looks like PSG are gonna win it. We'll see. But yeah, I'm gonna end it here. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, smash the like. Please subscribe if you're new. Leave your thoughts down in comments below if you're watching this as a playback. I'm gonna see you all tomorrow. Tomorrow is June 1st. Don't forget, transfer window opens. Because this season, transfer window is open from June 1st to June 10th. Then it closes for almost a week due to Club World Cup. And then in June 16, it opens up again and is till the end of August. So tomorrow, technically, transfer window opens. Let's see if tomorrow Zubimendi gets announced, if Sesko gets announced, or some more crazy links come out regarding Arsenal, or some crazy deals happen. Because looking also what other teams gonna sign, it's actually gonna be kind of fun to see how other teams are strengthening themselves while Arsenal arguably gonna sit around and do nothing. So big up Mike, big up Eros, big up Mike again, big up Socials, big up Boy10, big up Kwame, big up everyone who dropped by, who liked, who subscribed. You are all legends. Enjoy the Champions League football. I'm gonna watch it myself now. I'm gonna see you all tomorrow.